In today's video, I want to show you how you can build your own AI chatbot with no code. And this is a way that you can build it, you can package it, and it's going to work exactly as a chatbot, exactly as it should. And obviously, you can go further, you can customize it, you can make it behave exactly how you want it to behave, you can make it look exactly how you want it to look. Now, before we get started, everything I'm going to be talking about in this video, all the apps I'm going to be building and showing you are going to be available on my Patreon page, which you'll be able to find using the link in the description below. Now, a couple of videos ago, I introduced you to the OpenAI suite of tools. Now, this is not ChatGPT, which was released fairly recently. This is also from the same company. It is a suite of tools that allow you to do amazing things. They also have an API, an official API, which is something that ChatGPT does not have right now. And so you can use this inside of your apps. And just to refresh your memory, you can do amazing things here. You can do text completion, image generation, embeddings, code completion. If you go into examples here, you can do Q&A, summarize. So it's a really, really amazing AI service. You can sign up, you can get your API key, and you can start building apps, which is what a lot of people are doing right now. They're building amazing apps. Now, in that video, I showed you an example of an app that I built that's very, very simple. So that app has a couple of pages. You can do a Q&A, you can do summarized text, you can do extract keywords. And so if we run this app, it has 3 pages. So the first page is Q&A, then we have summarized text, and then we have extract keywords. These are basically 3 examples that show you kind of how this tool works, how this API works. And this is a very, very simplistic app. And what I decided, wouldn't it be really cool to go out and to build an actual chatbot where you can ask multiple questions, see the response, and actually talk to it in kind of a messenger style format. And that is exactly what I did. And so here's the app inside of FlutterFlow. But before we talk about how this app is built, let's run the app and let me show you how it works. And you will agree that this is definitely the preferred way of doing it. So here's the app running now, and this is going to be part of a much bigger app that I'm working on. It's going to be a much bigger project. But right now, I want to show you the kind of the bot chats or the chat bots. These are essentially chats that I'm having with a bot. And so I have a couple of chats that are happening right now, but let's go ahead and start a brand new chat. So you can just click on this button. It opens up and creates a brand new chat for you. So now you can talk to it. You can say like, hey, what is 1 + 1? And you can hit send. It sends an API request. It gets it back and we have a result. And you can keep talking to it. You can keep asking it various questions. So you can say something like, what is the capital of France? Okay, you can do that. And there it says Paris. So you can say something like, what is the capital? What is the population of Mexico? Okay? There you have it. Now you can go back to the main screen. You can take a look at some of the other things you're working on, different threads. So you can go back to this one and see some of the things that you've asked the bot and some of the things it answered. And just like with a real chat app, you have the messages that are, these are, your messages. These are the bots. You have the timestamps, everything like that. And so it looks exactly as a chat app. And so you can come back, you can start a brand new thread here. You can say something like, tell me a nice thing or something like that. You can do send. And you can see what it says. You're so kind and thoughtful. Very, very nice of the bot. And so now we have a real chat app. We have real threads. We have timestamps. We have real-time replies. We have history. We have everything that you need in order to have a really convenient and nice to use app. And in the future, we're also going to have chat abilities with real people. That is still work in progress. And so you'll be able to chat with the AI here as well as with the chat bot. Now, let me go back into FlutterFlow and let me show you how this app is built, and also make sure you watch until the end because I want to tell you a little issue I had and how I solved it. Now, FlutterFlow has some chat functionality that you can use inside of your apps. I talked about this before. I built some apps using chat functionality. But for this app, I decided to build everything from scratch. So I built my own chat stack. I built everything from scratch. We're not using FlutterFlow's chat functionality. And the reason I decided to do that was because I want more flexibility. I want to do it the way I want to do it. There's various limitations with using FlutterFlow's chat stack. And by building your own chat stack, you can do pretty much anything that you want. You have full flexibility to, configure it, to set it up exactly how you want it. So having said that, let's talk about some of the things. So we're using authentication. You can also log in as guest if you want. This is standard FlutterFlow. And now we have various pages. So the first page is the user chats, okay? And so this is going to be a part where you'll be able to chat with users. I'm planning to make this all one big app, or maybe this is going to be two separate apps. I really haven't decided. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. The next page is, this is the bots here, okay? And this is the part I showed you. And so we have a list here, and the list that we have is a list of chats, okay? So we have users, we have chats, and we have messages. So if I go into my Firestore, Firebase Firestore, you will see that we have chats and we have users. You can ignore prompts because that's with another app. And so we have various users here. And then we have chats that we're having with different users, okay? So here are chats, and we have 5 chats. I think 4 of these are AI chat, and 1 is just a regular chat. And for each chat, we have messages. So we have chat messages for each chat. So here's a message that says, "How are you?" This was sent by me. And this is OpenAI responded with, "I'm doing well, thank you, how about you?" So that's the basic structure we have. We have users, we have chats, and then in chats, we have chat messages. Now, you may have noticed I also have chat messages too. I'm going to be mentioning that a little bit later in the video. It's very, very important that you guys understand why I have that there. All right, so now that you see kind of the structure, it's a fairly simple structure. Let's go back inside the app, and if we go into our Firestore, you see the structure here, right? We have our users, which is filled in by FlutterFlow. This is standard FlutterFlow. But we also have this chats, which is something that I built here. And then we have chat messages and chat messages too. These are duplicates of each other, okay? And I'm going to explain to you why I have that and why you may also need to do something similar in the future. And so on this page here, we have a list of chats. So if I come over here on this page, we have this button here that just creates a new action. It creates a new chat, okay? It fills in all the fields here, returns the reference, and then this thing redirects to the actual chat page where you're exchanging messages, and we have the reference, right? Because we need to know, what chat that those messages belong to. So we have the reference, which is kind of what this does. It creates a reference, redirects them to the page I'm going to show you in a second, where people are exchanging messages. Now, this thing here, right? If you come to this chat list here, this gets a backend query, and this is a list of chats, right? This is our chats, and I'm doing a couple of filters. I am saying, like, make sure that you're only showing chats belonging to me, and then I have another filter. Make sure you only show AI chats, okay? Because this is the AI tab, okay? So I don't want to see all the chats, right? I only want to see chats where I am a participant. And I only want to see AI chat. So we have the OpenAI logo here. We have the last message, which is set automatically on this collection, depending on what was the last message, so that we can display it here. And then we have the relative time. So if I click here, you can see we have the last message here, and then we have the relative time. These are fields on chat, right? So on chats, if we come over here, chats, we have last message here. And then we have TS, which stands for timestamp. And these are essentially copies from the actual message, right? So if we go back here, obviously if you click on that, you're going to be redirected to the chat messages page. And the chat messages page takes in the reference, the chat ref, and then it's able to understand what chat we're talking about, and it's able to kind of list the messages. Now, initially, I'm displaying this kind of this thing here. This is this empty list widget here, and this is standard FlutterFlow, right? So if we disable that, just to show you, we have these messages here, right? So if we come over here, we have basically a column container, and we have a list view of messages. Now, these messages are going to show depending on whose message it is, right? We're not going to see, you know, a row of this message and this message. It's either going to be this or that. It's not going to be both. And what we're doing here is we have two rows. This is row other and this is row me. Okay, so this row other is this row right here, right? And that's, you know, that's how it is in iMessage, at least, is that your messages are on the right, the other person's messages are on the left. So row other is going to be these ones, right? As you can see, the main axis alignment is left, and row me, which are my messages, is to the right. Now remember, these are not going to show up at the same time. They have a conditional visibility. So if I show you that, this row is going to show up when the user ID of that message is not the authenticated user. So if I click on that, we see that we have this user ID of the message, who sent the message. They're not set to the authenticated user's ID, meaning it's somebody else. It's not me. It's the other person. Because we're only going to have, you know, two people in this chat, it's going to be it's going to be another person. So if it's not me, it's going to be the other person. And if we go into this second row, we also have conditional visibility. We have UID equals to user ID, which are my messages. And so it's going to go and list them, and then it's going to display either this one or this one, either this one or this one, but never all of them at the same time. And that's kind of what FlutterFlow's chat stack is doing, really, right? It's not very configurable. And so you can kind of use it, but there's not a lot of things that you can do with it. But here, I have full control. And so if we scroll down, we have the enter message, and that's your input field, right? We have an input field. I gave it a name, input message, and then we have the send button. Now, I have a couple of buttons here depending on who you're chatting with, right? So I have two buttons there inside a stack, and I'm only going to be displaying one of them. And so depending on if this is a regular user chat, we're going to show a chat button. And if this is like a AI chat, we're going to show this ping button. So if I disable that, just to show you, if I disable it, you're going to see the regular button. This regular button is going to show up when you're having a chat with a regular person. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. And so if I disable that, you're going to see this AI button here, right? You see this chat button, you see this AI button. Now, this AI button, if we open it up, it has a bunch of things it's doing, okay? The first thing it's doing is that it's creating a chat message, right? So remember, if you come over here, this input message, that's your chat message basically, right? You have like 4 fields there. If you come over here, you have the message, you have the timestamp, you have the user ID, and you have the user, right? So user ID, user, timestamp, all the 4 things that you need to display it and also to do the correct logic to show the right message. Next, we have the backend call, right? So remember, we are talking to an API, we're talking to AI using an API. And for that, you need to configure your APIs, which is something I talked about in the previous video, but it's very, very simple. Here are my APIs. I have the API URL, I have the headers. This is the key. This is your API key, which is going to be different. This one is not going to work. You come into the body. This is your JSON request. You have the prompt, and it's replaced by a variable. So I have a variable here, define question, and this is the question here. So if I send something, so here's my question. I say, what is 1 + 1? I can test this API, and we get a response. Now, we only want text here. And so what you want to do, guys, is you want to go into JSON paths, search for recommended, find what you want, click on selected, go back to selected and give it a name. And that way you can choose it, as I'm going to show you in a second, inside of your actions. Okay, so if we go back here, and we go to our button. This is kind of the meat of it all, right? We open it up. This is our API call. So I'm sending that API call. The question is the input message. And now I need to get the response. So I'm saving the response here. This is the answer here, which is what I'm getting back from the API. And now I need to create another document with the response. So remember, we created the document with the question. That's me. And the response is the API, the other user with the answer. Now, here's the problem. I cannot do it. I cannot do chat messages again. So if I write to the same table, another document, I'm going to get an error. Firestore update cannot create multiple chat messages documents in the same action. And I also went on the FlutterFlow forums, and a lot of people are talking about it, and there's really no workaround. And so I found a workaround, and the workaround is you want to have another collection that's in the same position as the other collection. So this is our main collection. This is the second collection, chat messages 2. And so what I'm doing is the second time I am writing to the second collection, okay? And I also went ahead and created a Firebase custom function called duplicate record, which essentially listens for that second collection and copies it and pastes it in the first collection. So it doesn't matter, whatever I do in the second collection is going to be duplicated to the first. That's, the only workaround I could think of, because I need to do this. I need to create 2 messages. Otherwise, I'm not going to have that kind of interesting, that API style conversation where I'm talking to somebody else and I need to write my own response and their response. Obviously, if you're talking to a user, it's not going to be an issue because you're only going to have one call here. But if you're doing some kind of automation where you're getting a response back, you're going to need to do at least 2 calls here. And that's kind of what I figured is we're going to have a second collection. I'm going to have links to everything, the code, on my Patreon page. So if you're interested, definitely a great resource. So if you scroll down, we're also updating the main chat document, right? We need the last message, right? Because we want to show it in the preview, right? We need to show in the preview over here. So if we come over here, right here inside this list, we are showing the last message here and the relative time as well. So if we go back here, we have this button here, we come up. And then last but not least, we're clearing the text fields, okay? So they type a message, it's sent, it's on its way, we clear their input, okay? So it's good behavior. If you don't do that, it's gonna keep the same text there, which is probably not ideal. And also I have a profile page here, and this page is not functioning. It's purely to see which user is logged in so that I can log out and test it with another user. But, finishing this page, modifying some user fields, stuff like that is very, very trivial. It's very, very easy. Now, the most important thing when it comes to the design of the app is that you need to understand different documents, collections, and how they relate to each pages. So on this list here, right, this chatbot list, we have a list of chat documents. So that's going to be a separate collection. But if we go into chat messages here, that's messages. That's another collection. And so you need to be kind of cognizant of that. And also you have a list of users, because the idea here is that if you come here and you have a plus button here, that's going to pop up a list of users that you need to pick a user, click on that user, and that's going to create a new chat document. And that way you're going to have a list of chat documents and everything is going to be syncing perfectly. And so this kind of project, going out and building your own chat app, is a really nice test of your skills when it comes to FlutterFlow, because there's a lot of little gotchas, a lot of little things to keep in mind. And as an extra bonus, if you can integrate it with an API, like with OpenAI API, and have that bot kind of talk to you, is really, really cool. That's a really, really nice touch. And so there you have it, your own AI messenger, where you can start a conversation, talk to it, get out, start a new conversation, talk about something else, come back to the last thread, talk about something else. And there's lots and lots of things that you can do with this kind of an app. You can build it on the web. You can build it on mobile. You can charge people for it. You can build it for a specific niche. The opportunities and the possibilities are pretty much endless. You can do so many great things with it. The most important thing is the user experience. You may probably want to, tweak some of the settings, tweak some of the things inside of your app to make it look good. But as of now, it's working exactly how I want it to work. And I'm sure you would agree that this is a much better approach. This is a much, much better user experience compared to the app that I showed you some videos back. And that's what we do. We constantly innovate. We constantly improve. We constantly try to better ourselves and to build better and better apps. And like I said before, this is probably going to be part of a bigger app. I'm thinking of implementing lots and lots of different features, lots and lots of different functionalities. So if there's something that you want to see me do to this app, some kind of features you want me to implement, some things you want me to include, leave your comments below, because this is going to be an amazing app once I feel I've put everything that I wanted to include in this app. So definitely stay tuned for that. Now, if you're super serious about your no-code journey, you want to build apps like this, you want to build even more amazing apps, you want to build incredible apps with awesome user experience that are going to delight your users, make them come back for more, and perhaps you'll even be able to build some kind of a business out of it and maybe start your own software company, then you definitely want to check out my Patreon page. Not only will you get access to all the apps that I've built on this channel, all the FlutterFlow apps, all the other no-code builder apps, but you also get extra content, live streams, Q&As, behind-the-scenes content, also my masterclasses where I dive deep into a specific area a lot of people are struggling with. In fact, I'm planning to do a masterclass very, very soon. It's going to be an in-depth video, in-depth tutorial on something that a lot of people having trouble with that they are asking me to kind of elaborate further. But above all that, becoming a supporter on my Patreon is an awesome way of supporting this channel and supporting my work. So if you have not yet joined, I sincerely hope to see you there. We have an awesome community. I'd really love to see you become a part of it. And so this will do it for today's video. I really hope you've gotten some value here. I know a lot of people have been asking me, how do you implement a chat app? How you implement a chat bot? Well, there you have it. Really hope you enjoyed it. Give this video a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys in a future video.